Fight the good fight every moment. Did you see how flustered she got? Oh, Aqua is a treasure. Oh my gosh, I love her so much. It's so cute. I love it. So this lowers magic down to like nothing. So I don't actually think I'm gonna equip it because like it transfers all the magic to strength, and we actually use magic as Aqua. That's the problem. Normally I take it, but we actually use magic. Although I do have a lot of attack moves right now. So there is. Yeah, I'm still gonna keep it. What are my stats right now? 13, 15. So it would like make her more physical base-ish. Because it would kind of like normalize it. I guess we could. What are my stats now? 15, 13. Wow, it really did switch. Okay, sure, I guess. I got more physical attacks than right now. Nope, not what I wanted. Alright, time for the best world. And probably the last one we'll do. I kind of want to do Neverland, because I know what's coming, I know how long it is, but we'll go on ahead and save Neverland. We're going to do this as the last one. Plus, that's how we handle Terra Inventus. And this piece of trash will be the last one. So, here we go. Probably final world for tonight. The best one, Deep Space. How? Time to get to work.
Is there any world they haven't found?
Vanitas has been making waves. Die, monster!
Take that! Freeze! Gotcha!
There we go. All done. Tiny little dot. Get him, Aqua, get him! Oh, I missed. Dead. Oh, you're all dead. There we go. Wayfinder.
This looks like the Wayfinders. But how did it get here? Tell me, where did you get that?
Come out, you little trog!
Wait!
You there! Has Experiment 626 passed through this area?
I don't understand. Experiment what?
Don't be dense. Dr. Jumbo Jukiba's genetic abomination, 626. Small, blue,
Yes.
vicious.
Him? But he didn't look vicious.
He did growl at you.
Ah, so you have seen him.
Yes, he's in the ventilation system.
Blast, he got away again. Hold it right there. Why don't I know you? What section are you from?
Uh-oh.
I'm...
Bail!
Trying to stow away, are we? I said stay close.
Your legs are long.
What is the meaning of this? Captain Gantu, did I not order you to apprehend the fugitives immediately?
Yes, and I will have them in custody soon. They'd be locked up already if those wretched monsters would just... I mean, if I hadn't uncovered this potential stowaway.
I
That is
wasn't
the,
trying to
actual
sneak on
voice
board.
actor.
My name is Aqua. And those monsters, I followed them here. Please, I can handle this threat. Just give me a chance. Let me show you. The weapon I carry is the only one that can stop them.
Our weapons are of no use against them?
Uh,
Is this true?
they kind of are.
Well, we haven't explored all our options.
Nor do we have time to.
Disney characters
We are
can technically
fortunate you
find
are here,
purpose in
Aqua.
person stuff.
Your
but it's not as
assistance would be
effective.
most welcome.
But Grand Councilwoman, you can't honestly believe what this stowaway says.
I think you'll find I can. We have a crisis.
Grand
Jumba
Councilwoman's great.
and 626 remain at large, and these monsters are obstructing attempts to apprehend them. Or did I mishear your latest excuse as to why you've again failed to carry out your duties, Captain?
Ugh.
Will you help us?
Of course. Defeating them is my job. It's what I do best, ma'am.
Besides being
Then might
beautiful,
I
amazing,
make one
elegant,
other
cultured.
request? Should you happen upon our fugitives, please do whatever you can to apprehend them intact.
We wouldn't be able to hurt Stitch
You want
anyway.
me to capture Dr. Jumba and Experiment 626?
But you can't just... That's my job!
You had your chance, Captain Gantu. Now you will stand down and await orders. We will monitor the location of the monsters and keep you apprised. Thank you for your help, Aqua.
Of course.
See, Aqua got the good
Experiment
truth.
626 was carrying a wayfinder. I'd note that shape anywhere. Are Terra and Ven here too?
We're... Oh, okay. We'll have that. Have that. Have that. Have that. One of Aurora. Sell things to buy it. Those potions mean nothing. I still don't have enough flashing. Whoa, I can get confused barrier? I'll buy that now. But I want more. I have enough things to say. That sells for nothing. Balloon letters sucks balls. Actually, I think I can sell this. I can't. Okay. There we go. Better barrier. That's on. Bubble Blaster's the best. Bubble Blaster's the best. Like another ether to sell. Items are just money. I'm gonna do grinding after we're done as well to prepare for the finale. I gotta go get all the stickers. What are our stats now? 16, 13, 13. So if we did this, what are our stats right now? 14, 15, 13. Yeah, let's do that, because that's more even. Do that. Letter, nothing. Oh my god. You hit like every mine.
Gotcha.
Oh, I missed one. That sucks. Oh, awesome.
Freeze.
Frickin' beam sword!
Take that! Farewell!
This is animated attack right here. Soundbits! Oh, you're dead. Majestic, man, dude.
Enough!
Oh, excellent. We finished this. Back we go. Back we go. Let's melt some new ones. Shall Let me look at my abilities real quick. One more HP. Air combo plus is done, so I gotta be careful. First. Kira. Okay, second chance is good. I won't lie. Second chance is good. So I won't look a gift horse in the mouth. But it's not good. usage. Damage siphon. Okay. That's... Restore some of the focus needed to take damage. Okay, that's not too bad. Yes, second chance is so good. Alright, I'll take it. I want Leaf Bracer, but I will take it. Let's use the transporter. Ooh. Smoke and mirrors, baby. Space. The final one. Aw, look at him! He's so wonderful.
Look out!
You see that one turn?
You
He's like a
must be
ninja.
Experiment 626. I have orders to take you in. What? I think you and I need to talk.
Or not.
But first things first.
The experiment 626 to beat that verse. Yeah, let's do it, Stitch. Let's fucking do it.
Freeze!
Enough is enough indeed.
Wind! Heal! Freeze!
Oh, he's got the freaking guns.
Take that! Yeah! Yeah! Gotcha! All right!
Yes. They're coming. Oh, he just stopped. Sorry, buddy.
Freeze! Take that! Wind!
There we go. Cool. Oh, look at him.
Thanks. I owe you. What is it you're looking for? Huh? Wait! I just need to ask you!
Look at him go! Look at me go! won't waste time. I'll come back here and do the whole jumping puzzle crap. I'm not gonna waste time today. I'll do it on my own. We'll skip it. Batwoman. One verse. Yeah, this is our turf, see? Oh god, that's right. She actually, like...
Gotcha! Take that!
Oh my god, oh my god.
Gotcha! Take that! Gotcha! Take that! Gotcha! Take that! Gotcha! Take that!
I'm so bad at aiming. Ah.
Gotcha! Take that! Gotcha! Take that! Yeah! Hut! Yeah! Yeah!
Die, monsters.
Yeah! Hut! Yeah! Ta! Yeah! Hut! Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
Please make it stop.
Gotcha! Take that! 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 Gotcha!
Oh, I can charge it. Oh, that's awesome.
Gotcha! Take that!
One shot, one kill.
Gotcha! Take that!
That is not good.
Take that! Gotcha! Take that! Gotcha!
There we go. Cool. Freaking giant bows. Air slide. There it is. It took a while.
This must be the Wayfinder that 626 was carrying around.
Dr. Jumba and Experiment 626 have been sighted. At that time, the two of them were wandering around the launch deck. Would you see that they're secured?
Is Experiment 626 really that dangerous of a creature?
We must assume so.
All right then. I'll head over there now.
Assuming it does something terrible. Right, so we have to put on. Ah, we don't have to. Wow, that barely has any distance. Oh god, that was wrong. Oh Alright, I'm gonna skip enemies. I'll come back here and do some stuff. Sorry guys, you're being skipped. But your duty was, fine. They ain't hurt nobody. There's no issue. It's fine. Oh my gosh, Aqua, you have no air movement. What the crap? That's enough for that. Look at that. Look how little she moves. It's like right now. I'll kill you guys. No, please don't fall. You're killing me. You're killing me. Just grab this and go. Grab it and go, girl. Oh, a new one. Okay, that's good. Okay, we fell. Alright, let's hurry. Finish up.
It's time to give up. Then I will fix abnormality, and ridiculous behavior stops.
Hold it right there.
Huh?
Dr. Jumba, Experiment 626. I've been authorized to take you into custody. So it really does belong to you. But where have you seen that shape?
His
This
copies
must
he
be
made of
before
good
Mexico.
charm that boy Terra showed to him. Terra said friend gave him charm, was very protective of it.
He really said that to you?
Aw,
Yes.
Who cares?
Then you're still
Aw.
alright. Tara.
And now, because of Terra and his little bauble, my genius creation is hesitating in his genetically programmed destructive instincts.
Maybe
So
he's
look
learning
at
to
him.
love.
What are you doing? Our orders are to capture them alive.
I've decided to take a new approach. All right, you two. Any last words before I blast you into a million pieces?
Lala Patuki!
I'm just Big Bone! Freeze!
Gantu, you cannot be him. We all know how this goes.
Stop it!
I warned you, stay out of it!
I guess we have to do this the hard way.
Time to put him down.
I'm taking you in!
Have some bubbles, Gantu. Ouch.
Surprise!
Sorry, Stitch, I'm kind of in the middle of something I can't do right now, buddy.
Take that! Wind! Freeze! Gotcha!
Hold still, Kurt!
Wind! Freeze! Yeah, take that!
Woo! Nice job, little buddy. You're the best.
I'm not done with you yet.
Enough! I observed everything on the monitor.
I can explain.
You've been of great service, Aqua. Thank you. Captain Gantu, escort 626 to the asteroid to which he's been banished. When you return, you're back on patrol.
Not patrol.
Uh-huh.
Please, Your Highness, would you consider sparing Experiment 626?
Spare him. He's an extremely dangerous creature. I cannot release such a man.
But what if he met
But
a
it seems to
spunky
me he's
little
at least
girl with a
trying to make
great
friends.
will? who
And
dates you
dangerous
out
or
with
not,
a
I
bar?
really believe he can succeed.
Very well, Aqua. If he behaves himself, I will consider shortening his exile.
Thank you, ma'am.
How polite Aqua is. Gosh, she's awesome.
I like the charm you made. Do you think maybe my circle of friends could become part of yours? My name is Aqua. My friends are Terra and Ventus.
Aqua. Ventura.
Look how adorable he is! Also, we can like pick up a skyscraper and smash it with it. And then Ventus shows up later, and that's how he gets lost. Hyperdrive. Alright. That was the last one for now. Deep space. Okay. Oh, I missed a lot. Now I'll go back. Alright, before I go, put on some new. Darker. Anything good about? Finally, equipment. I think hyperdrive is better. Yes, hyperdrive is just better. I love how Stitches is the best one. Heck yeah. Okie dokie. That will wrap it up for today for Kingdom Hearts Chronicles in Birth by Sleep. Next time, on next Thursday, we will finish everything. And it's going to be a doozy. Got a decent amount to do for sure, so. Kind of want to get through one more world, but we'll be okay. We'll be okay. I think we have the time to be able to get through. So, should be good. Should be good to go. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. That was the Kingdom Hearts Chronicles for today. Aqua and all of her beautiful and elegance. And we saw how she was able to hold to the rules, but still make a great impact, which is why I love her. And she's wonderful, and she's great. Okay, hold on. I'm almost on the right things. Yeah, there we go. All right. So that'll wrap that up for today. If you don't know, I'm Icarus. These are streams. On Thursdays, we go into Kingdom Hearts Chronicles. I'm going through all of Kingdom Hearts in chronological order of the story, not the way they were released. So we're almost done with Birth by Sleep. And for reference point, Birth by Sleep, everything we're going through with Aqua and all of them, this takes place 10 years before Kingdom Hearts 1, which is the next one we're going to. So just to give you some info on that. And that happens on Thursdays at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Next week, we'll be finishing Birth by Sleep with that. Then on Fridays, tomorrow, at around 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, maybe 11, depending on how it gets done, we dive into Tales of Vesperia, and we go in with Epsilon, Sasha, Barambo, sometimes Valamir. The whole group kind of gets together for that. It's very fun, usually. So That'll be tomorrow at 10:30 p.m. Usually on Sundays, we dive into Final Family Fantasy Fun Time 14, or with Epsilon. It's Final Fantasy 14. Epsilon and I play together. We won't be doing it this Sunday. I'm going to be with my family, so we'll be doing it next Sunday for that. So no stream this Sunday. And then on Tuesdays, we go into a more single adventure. And we just finished up Shantae Half Genie Hero. So next time, we'll be going to something new and a game that I hold very close to my heart. A part of the streams is very close to my heart, and I hope it'll be fun for everyone too. So we'll be diving into that this coming Tuesday at around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So that'll do it for the Kingdom Hearts Chronicles for today. If you're leaving now, may God bless you. All of this will go up on YouTube as soon as I can get it up, probably tomorrow as fast as I can. And I'll try to put it in chunks to make it easier. Yeah, you can find me on Icarus_redeemed on Twitter. I usually try to post updates for when I'm going live, or if, like today, I had to take care of some sound issues. Icarus Redeemed on YouTube, no underscore there, and you can just like watch all the VODs. I try to split them up. And yeah, if you're gonna leave now, may God bless you. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you again. If you're gonna stay a little bit longer, after every stream, we like to go into. I'm a believer of God's word, so I'd like to share a little bit of His word after every stream. Last stream we didn't do it because we were doing the Disney animated thing. But this today I wanted to go into it, and we've been going through the book of Genesis. So we've been going through Genesis and talking about. We've been talking about God's work in history, about the creation, and about God's like calling of Abraham was what we did more recently. So last time we were talking about how Abraham, who got renamed to Abraham, and his wife Sarai to Sarah, they were visited by 3 individuals, 2 of which were angels, heavenly hosts, and one of which was an embodiment of Jesus himself before he came to visit, before he came as Jesus of Nazareth. Because remember, the Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, has been around forever. They've been around forever. So they exist always, like the Lord exists always. So just because he hasn't come to visit as Jesus doesn't mean he doesn't exist. So the 3 of them visited, and they once again made a promise to Abraham, saying, "Your wife, I don't care how old you are, will have the seed that will go forward into the promised nation that I promised you. It will be by Sarah, not by Hagar, not by any of your maidservants or anything. It will be by Sarah. I promise you that, by 1 year from today." So you got the promise of it. Then the men looked towards Sodom and Gomorrah were cities that were very flourishing, very well-resourced and everything, but they were cities that were ripe with sin, and they were just terribly depraved. We're talking like one of the worst places on earth at that point, just terribly depraved and awful. And the men discussed about how the judgment would come to Sodom. Now, Lot, Abraham's brother-in-law, I think his brother-in-law, lived in Sodom. So he's there. So in order to preserve Lot, Abraham asked, "Lord, if there's 50 people in Sodom who are still following you, following righteousness in the way that you show, will you spare the city?" And God said, "Yes, I will spare it for 50. And then he kept lowering the number, 45, 35, 30, all the way down to 10. Including Lot and his family, so that's already like 5 right there or something. All the way down to 10. Says there's 10 people, will you spare it? And God said, "Yes, I will spare it if there's 10. As we're going to learn today, there's not even 10. So we're going to be going into Genesis 19. Show it. 19, 1 through 14. Now, I will let you know, today's and next time's, tomorrow's really, devotionals, and the next time actually, are a bit intense. Let me put it that way. I know the Bible to a lot of people is like, oh, it's stories about righteousness and God's work and all like, yay, happiness. And there's a lot of that, for sure. But it's also a book of God's work in our lives, of the history of man. And as we all can see, just from today's world, and also just the world in general, the history of man has a lot of not great stuff about it. And a lot of selfishness and twistedness of just desire and awful holdings of who we are, and selfishness and sin. This book, like this chapter 19 of Genesis, has a lot of that. We're about to learn the reason that God said this city of Sodom has got to go. Kind of a Noah's Ark kind of situation, but in the preservation of Lot and his family, God still stayed true to those who are righteous to him. Even in a depraved, fallen city and world, God still stayed true to those he loved. And we'll see that today. So, just a warning, if anyone is maybe squeamish about certain topics of depravity and not great, how do I put this without like just going into it? Promiscuousness in ways that are very disgusting, honestly. Maybe I still think it's important to hear his word, and I do think even this is here for a reason, because by seeing the depravity of man, we can see why we need God, because this is the alternative that happens whenever a place is left away from his righteousness. So I do think it's important, and to show God's judgment that does happen against those who are unrighteous and those who are awful to others as well. So it is important to see. I genuinely believe that. But it is a bit difficult, so just a fair warning on that. So, without further ado, the two come invited. The two angels, remember the Son of God is not there. Jesus in the form is not there. It's just the two angels. Came to Sodom in the evening. And Lot, remember Abraham's brother-in-law, was sitting in the gate of Sodom. Now, important to note, the gate of the city back in those days was a place of honor, because usually commerce was around the gates. So people of honor and respect and who were elevated in a city or a place sat in the gates and were allowed those positions. So Lot was well established in Sodom. Like, he was able to live there and actually have like probably good dealings and stuff. But Sodom knew about how the city was, and we're about to see that. When Lot saw them, he rose to meet them and bowed himself getting late, with his face to the earth, and said, "My lords, please turn aside to your servant's house and spend the night and wash your feet. Then you may rise up early and go on your way." So, important to note here, Lot saw the two individuals, the two angels. Remember, the angels look like people because they can do that. They have the ability to do that. It's done multiple times in the Bible. They have the ability to take on the guise of humans. There's a verse that says, "Many of you have entertained angels unawares." They're here on the earth like demons have activity. The point is, Lot knew these two were important. I don't know if he knew they were angels, but he knew that like these two were important people. And he says, "Please come into my house." Hey, before they even walk in the city, hey, come to me. Hey, I'm a great host of this place. I have a great position. Come to my house. I invite you in. And he did that. Notice how he said, "Come here and spend the night. Stay with me for the night. Then in the morning go." So he said that for a reason. So the two angels said, "No, we shall spend the night in the town square. We'll just stay here. Surely in the town square, there are people who live out here. We can live out here. We're travelers. We've done that before. No problem." But Lot pressed strongly, so they turned aside to him and entered his house. He made them feast on baked unleavened bread, and they ate. So Lot insisted, "No, you want to come with me, please, I promise to treat you well." And they're like, "Okay." So Lot really pressed really hard to get them to come into his house and sleep there. Well, I mean, that's good hospitality for sure, but why would he push so hard? Obviously, sleeping out on the town square probably isn't the best, so fair enough. So maybe he was just making sure they had a place to stay, because sleeping out like in a city isn't super great. It's kind of like, hobos or something. It's like, we want to stay in a place. So surely that's the only reason. Surely he wouldn't know of other reasons to not leave two sojourning, well-looking probably, they're angels, men, out by themselves. Surely there's not another reason. There is. But before they lay down for bed, all of the people together, in Lot's house, the men of the city, the men of Sodom, both young and old, all the people to the last man surrounded the house. So we've got all of the men, old, young, doesn't matter, surrounding the house like an angry mob. And they called out to Lot, who, remember, Lot holds a good position in Sodom, so they know who Lot is. They saw the men go into Lot's house. They saw the two angels, they're probably very good looking once again, we don't know, but they're angels, probably, go into Lot's house. And they said, "Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them to us that we may know them." Okay, so the term "we may know them," the term knowing someone, back in Old Testament times, back in the way that the scriptures are written. Remember, this is all Hebrew originally, so I had to translate it. When someone says to know someone else, usually it's said for weddings, like they were married and he knew his wife. To know someone can mean, you know of them, but there is another way the term is used in the Bible. To know someone is to have intercourse with them. So it's a sexual thing. So all of the men of the city, both young and old, all of them, came to the house and said, bring the men out that came to you, these two men, these two travelers that you've shown hospitality to. We want to know them. We want to have sex with them. We want to engage in debauchery with them. We want to, whether they want to or not, have sexual relations. So Lot went out to the men in the entrance, shut the door after him. I could just see him now walking out and they're shutting the door, and said, okay. Oh, God. So this city, you can already tell, is pretty freaking depraved. An entire mob comes out with travelers who come into the city and says, "Hey, Lot, you got those people in? Send them out. We want to have our way with them. We want to see them." It reminds me of it kind of reminds me of human trafficking in a way, actually. Where people go into town and then unexpectedly, bad stuff happens. And this is all history. This is all real. So, I mean, if you believe in the Bible, which if you don't, that's fine. But if you don't, I don't think this devotional is going to do much for you. But if you do, this all happened. All scripture is God-breathed and good for report, teaching, and everything. So this is all real. And this whole city, all the people, it doesn't say some, it says all the people, young and old, came to the house. All the men, sorry. And they said, "We want to know these men." Now, besides the homosexual nature of it, which I'm not going to go into here, besides that, even putting that to the side, they are saying we want to gangbang these two men. That's literally what they're saying. So, if a city has an entire population that's like that, yeah, you're starting to see the reason why God was like, yeah. And remember how Abraham argued, if there's 10, I'll spare it? Yeah, I don't count 10 here, even who are righteous. So, yeah, you're kind of seeing the reason God was like, yeah, no, this place has to go. So, what does Lot do? This is a pretty tense situation. They respect Lot to a degree, but he can only mediate to so much. So what does he do? Does he just toss them out there? No, he's going to defend the men. How does he defend them, though? Well, whenever Lot may be someone who still believes in the Lord and follows him to the best of his ability, but bad company corrupts. And the Bible talks about that a lot in Psalms. And as we're about to see, Lot, living in the city, might have gotten some of their depravity on him as well. The people who we hold counsel with make a big impact on who we are. And that's why, be careful who your friends are and who you're seeing around, because we're about to see how it maybe affected Lot. So, Lot goes out and says, "I beg you, my brothers, do not act so wickedly. Behold, I have 2 daughters who have not known a man, they're virgins. Let me bring them out to you, 2 virgin daughters." We don't even know what their ages were. "And do to them as you please. Only do nothing to these men, for they have come under the shelter of my roof." So Lot goes out and says, no, I'm taking care of these men. And probably because he wanted to be seen well with the men and wanted to, be a good host, and maybe knew who they were, I don't know. But he says, no, I'm going to protect them. You can't have them, which is good. Yeah, good lot. But instead he says, but I need to abate these men. When an individual hangs out with other people in an area that's depraved or a place that it doesn't have good influence, usually they start to compromise because a person doesn't want to lose their standing with these people because whenever Lot originally chose the land of Sodom, the land was rich in resources. It was a good place. Lot has a place at the gates. He's a well-known person. He doesn't want to displease these people because then that would maybe give up his position. But he also knows what the right thing to do is. He knows it's not right to send these men out, and he is taking care of them. So that would be very wrong. So what does he do? He compromises. He compromises his morals, and he says, I have 2 daughters, 2 virgins. Let me give them to you, and you can do whatever you want with them. So Lot is saying, I'm not going to let you gangbang these 2 men, but have my daughters, who are virgins, you can do whatever you want with them. I don't know about you, but that's just freaking disgusting. That's awful. Ugh, jeez. So, yeah, you can kind of see the depravity of where Sodom stands. I know Sodom and Gomorrah is like a big thing that a lot of people talk about, and they're kind of like, did it really need to fall? I'm presenting to you now the evidence of why it was what happens to it. Because, yeah, this is pretty bad, guys. So, do the men take that? No, they don't. But they said, stand back. And they said, this fellow came to sojourn. He has become the judge. Now we will deal worse with you than with them. Then they pressed hard against the man Lot and drew near the door to break the door down. Basically, the angry mob mentality shot him. Like, no, we get to do this, judge. Lot, you don't get to say this. And if you keep pushing, you're going to lose your position here. And so they start to push. So things are getting real dire. And they're going to force their way in. But the men reached out their hands, the 2 men, the 2 angels, and brought Lot into the house with them and shut the door. How did they keep the mob out? They're angels. They're spiritual beings way beyond the power of men. There are stories about a single angel wiping out an entire army before, like in the Bible. They're good. So they struck the men with blindness who were at the entrance door, both great and small, young and old. So they wore themselves out groping for the door. So they pull Lot back in to preserve him by God's righteousness, because we just saw Lot's not that great of a guy. He was about to offer up his daughters. But even then, the Lord still preserves for him, maybe for Abraham's sake, but still says, you still do follow me, even if you're really not, you're kind of in the gutter, but you're still following me, I will preserve you. So the angels work their miracles in order to get things under control. And then they give a warning. Then the men said to Lot, have you anyone else here, sons-in-laws, daughters, anyone, literally is there anyone else in the city that you care about? Bring them out of the place, for we are about to destroy this place, because the outcry against its people has become great before the Lord, and the Lord has sent us to destroy it. We are here to burn this place to the ground. If you have anyone you care about, Lot, still in here, God will preserve them, take them and leave. Now this does mean Lot has to give up his position in this place that he likes, so he's going to have to give up the compromise. But God gave him a fair warning here through his angels. So, to Lot's credit, he does obey. He went out and said to his sons-in-law, who were to marry his daughters, the daughters he was about to give up. Oh my God, dude. You were about to give up your virgin daughters who were betrothed? I just realized that. Oh, God. Up, he said, get out of this place, for the Lord is to destroy the city. But he seemed to his sons-in-law to be jesting. They basically were like, yeah, sure you are. Okay, Lot. All right, soon-to-be dad-in-law. All right, sure, yeah. Okay, Mr. They don't have last names back then, but okay, Mr. Lot. Okay, sure. And they probably just went back to sleep. So, yeah. So this sets up for what's going to happen to Sodom. And what's going to happen to Sodom is one of God's most direct actual smites ever done. So we're going to see that next time. The reason that I think this story is that this piece of history is important is because, yes, it does suck. Like, I genuinely, ever since, honestly, before my vacation, I knew this was coming, and I felt like, oh geez, about sharing this because it's not great. It's not a fun story to look at. Like, it's not. But it's important because it shows the depravity of man without God. Like, this is a city that was totally devoid of God's influence and his mercy and people following him, except for Lot and his family. There's like no one else in that entire city. It's a big city. It's a major city of the ancient world. And there's no one else in that entire city who follows God. And it shows this is what happens when a nation leaves the Lord. This is what it leads to. And that's true. That is absolutely true. There's so many Psalms talks about it, Proverbs talks about it. There's so many verses that talk about nations, what happens whenever they leave the Lord. I mean, as we will see in Genesis, even Israel, the chosen nation that's going to come from Abraham that we're talking about, they leave the Lord's righteousness too. And you see what happens with them. They're brought back because of the Lord's grace, but still. The reason Sodom and Gomorrah is an important story, is an important history lesson, is because it shows this is what happens whenever a place is allowed to get fully away from God. This is the result. This depravity, this twisted nature, this sin of the human heart is what we amount to outside of God. This is our end without God. We give into our basest desires. We twist our desires to become repulsive and abominable. And we fully lose any kinds of lines of morality that we used to have. Because without God, without his word as a measuring stick, it's all societal based. It's all times based. I know progressivism is like a big thing right now. But whenever a society is based on morals that are just decided based on how society flows, we are inherently selfish in nature. The word talks about that. And because of that, that means that if we don't have a standard by God, by the true standard of righteousness, we will find whatever justifications we need to do what we want. There will be residual righteousness even without God's exact presence there. We know there's right from wrong to a degree, but it's a slippery slope if you don't have that kind of standard. There's an old saying that my dad uses all the time. It's a very good saying. If someone stands for nothing, they will fall for anything. This is why, honestly, I hate postmodernism. I do, because if everything's right and acceptable, there's no standard that anyone can be held for, which means anything's acceptable. And because of our baseline selfish desire that I believe in because of the Word of God, that means eventually that's where we will end up. And I don't want to screw it. If we look at the world today, and just in history too, you can see that that's kind of the pattern of how things go. So Sodom is just one of the earliest showings of it. So next time we will see what that warning leads to and how God's judgment is carried out on a land like Sodom, so depraved and away from his name. So I know, kind of not the best note to end on, not a happy note, but God's mercy is extended, like to Lot and his family, to those who do follow him, and he will preserve those from destruction and judgment who, as we know now, are washed by Christ's blood. That's how we have that salvation now. So we'll continue next time into Genesis and see where everything ends up. That'll be where we end for today. Thank you so much for joining. I really enjoyed it. I love going through Kingdom Hearts. It's one of my favorite game series, and I hope everyone's enjoying it too. Next week, we will finish up Birth by Sleep for this part of the Chronicles, and our book will close on the Kingdom Hearts Chronicles for that section. And we'll talk about moving forward with that too. Anyway, I hope you have a blessed night and a fantastic week or weekend or whatever you're experiencing. And I will talk to all of you next time. May God bless you, and, well, good night for now. Bye.